a one-time $500 relief check, and taxpayers should expect their mail for some good news soon. Starting this week, the IRS is sending letters to more than 9 million individuals and families who appear to qualify for a variety of key tax benefits, but did not claim them by filing a 2021 federal income tax return. Many in this group may be eligible to claim some or all of the 2021 recovery rebate credit, the child tax credit, and the earned income tax credit, and other tax credits as well. The IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick has also announced that the IRS wants to remind everybody that's potentially eligible for this payment that they may qualify for these valuable tax credits even if they are not required to file a tax return. They may still qualify for several important credits. We don't want to overlook these tax credits, and the letters will remind people of their potential eligibility. Until people claim these benefits without charge, the Free File tool is going to remain open for an extra month this year. Until November 17th, that is. The tool enables people whose incomes are $73,000 or less to file a return online for free. Individuals whose incomes are below $12,000 and couples whose incomes are below $25,000 may be able to file a tax return to claim the recovery rebate credit, which covers any stimulus payment amounts from 2021 that they may have missed and the child tax credit as well. In an effort to help families fight inflation, the New York governor has also announced last month that people in New York will receive an average payment of $270 through the state tax credit program. As part of the 2022-2023 New York State budget, New York taxpayers could receive a check for two different payments under the Empire State Child Credit and the Earned Income Credit. And while the payments will come out as a relief for many, most of the state's nearly 20 million residents are eligible. Around 1.75 million low-income New Yorkers and families are eligible for payments. This program will actually put money back into the pockets of nearly 2 million New York families struggling to make ends meet in the face of the crisis. And also, beginning this fall, around 3 million people in Georgia can expect a check of $350 to arrive in their bank, and that's because the governor has released up to $1 billion in crisis aid to send people funds to deal with inflation. Despite nearly $3 billion in excess revenues flowing back to taxpayers next month, Massachusetts residents are already urging for more financial relief from lawmakers at least. Currently eligible residents can expect to receive a rebate that is 13% of their 2021 state income tax liability, with the average amount at about $530. According to Massachusetts Budget and Policy Center, low-income households who do not pay income taxes will not get any refund under the tax cap law. And the bottom 20 backlog continues to grow. The backlog continues to grow is deeply concerning, primarily because millions of taxpayers have been waiting months or even more to receive the refund. While more than 90% of taxpayers filed returns electronically last year, roughly 17 million people sent the paper filings. The agency is processing more returns compared to a year ago, and it continues to make substantial progress on the backlog. But the agency in March shared plans to hire 10,000 workers, starting with 5,000 new employees. Now, new changes will be made, everybody, to President Biden's economic agenda. Lawmakers are finally addressing the rising inflation rates. Democrats are trying to find a new way to send out more financial aid to Americans, and recurring stimulus checks may be passed. Nancy Pelosi said today that Democratic leaders will gauge the party's support for President Biden's proposed gas tax holiday, but stop short of endorsing the idea. This is suggesting a rare break between the Speaker and her White House ally on an issue that's threatening Democrats' prospects at the polls in November. Speaker Pelosi said in a statement, "We will see where the consensus lies on a path forward for the president's proposal in the House and the Senate, building on the strong bills to lower prices at the pump already passed by House Democrats, including the Consumer Price Gouging Prevention Act and the lower food and fuel cost of living for retirees and seniors." And it's the final week of the Social Security Administration sending out payments for the month. If you haven't received a payment yet, it can arrive this week depending on your date of birth and how long you've been receiving Social Security. If you receive a Ssdi, you won't actually get a July check, and you should have received it. But for people back then, July 26th is the payment date for people with birthdays between the 21st and 31st of any given month. The average American 65 years age and up earns an annual pre-tax income of $55,000, and the same group spends a $52,000 yearly payment or $4,300 a month on things like that. That income doesn't lead to a lot of extra cash for the unexpected expenses or emergencies. The average American saved 65 to 69% and has about $200,000 in the retirement savings. And according to analysis from the Federal Reserve, many seniors might still need to work even when they reach a retirement age. Because health spending retirees make up an annual income of $7,000, and one way to cut costs when health issues arise is to get easily affordable preventive health care. Home costs represent the largest expense for retirees, accounting for 36% of their annual expenses. Experts say that retirees who want to gain a leg up may want to consider downsizing as prices could remain high. This can mean selling your current home for a profit, which leaves you room to stash away money for retirement, boost your emergency fund, or pay off debt. One drawback might be that you also pay a higher price for a replacement home in the market, and at $6,500, food prices account for over 12% of the annual increases in expenses for those 65 and older. But meal planning is one way to overspend since it doesn't involve shopping for food items as opposed to regularly eating out. And also, major prescription pricing legislation to cap the cost of insulin is also in danger of falling. The legislation is a priority for Democrats, and Chuck Schumer has said that the hope was to combine the insulin bill and legislation reforming the pharmacy benefit manager industry. It will be a package that can get bipartisan support and a vote before the end of summer. In a press conference, he said that passing an insulin bill. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Here's an important update. I know many of you guys are wondering when Congress is actually going to do something about the fourth stimulus check. So here it is. Congress will be sending out another batch of fourth stimulus payments to Americans. The Social Security Administration is also looking at a new benefit raise for Social Security beneficiaries. Democrats have proposed a new action plan for the Social Security program, and now if you're retired or just about to retire, then next year's Social Security checks are likely to see one of the biggest bumps on record as a result of surging consumer price indexes. The average beneficiary may be in line to get as much as $180 a month starting next January. And anyone living on a fixed income is being hit hard by inflation. And the higher payments will be welcome news for retirees who have seen their household finances squeezed so far this year. As a result of rocketing inflation and turmoil in the financial markets, the consumer price index is up an annual 8.6% through May, the way ahead of the 5.9% annual inflation adjustment handed out to Social Security beneficiaries in January. Meanwhile, retirees with savings in stocks and bonds have seen their portfolio slump with the financial markets. Anyone living on a fixed income is being hit hard by inflation. Social Security checks have lost 9% of their purchasing power in a year. And the annual COLA, which was instituted during the inflationary period of the 1970s, is calculated by comparing consumer prices each summer with prices from the previous year. The Social Security Administration will look at the average CPI numbers for July, August, and September, and compare them to the average for the same 3 months last year. Experts say that we are already on track for the cost of living adjustment for 2023 of at least 7.9%. That's pretty much a guaranteed minimum. The reason? May CPI's figure is already 7.9%